We returned to do another investigation of Takumi-san's house, but something strange happened while we were gone. Kyonesei was still in the same spot in front of Mikako Suematsu's house, waiting for it without even trying to hide his frustration.
まだ出てこないんですか？
まったく大丈夫そうと言ったのは君だが、どういう根拠だったのかね。
音がしたから。
待ってる間にあなた自身で呼んでみればよかったんじゃないですか？
そんなぶしつけなことができるか。
なんでそんなにリカ子さんにだけ気を使ってるんです？野里は上松より格上でしょうに。
That was interesting bit of info. I hadn't realized that the head of the families had hierarchy.
女性に気を使うのは当然だろう。
私も女性なんですけど。
あえて敵外心をむき出しにしてくる相手に気を使う必要があるのかね。
勘弁してくださいよ。ついさっきそこで死人が出たんですよ。
That was probably one of the reasons why they were so agitated, but my comment was enough to shut them up.
とはいえ心配ですね。中で病気やら怪我やらしてたら大変だ。最悪踏み込みましょう。
そんなぶしつけな。
I see the type of guy who reports someone who undressed a girl to give her proper first aid. What's up with this guy's
上
priorities?
松さん、上松里香子さん。
I pushed the door almost violently. I heard the sound of rustling clothes. Hachiko laughs or something?
上松さん、戸を開けますよ。
No answer again, only sounds. Was it really Mikako Uematsu in there?
戸を破ります。
Jamie nodded while Kinosuke gave a disgruntled sigh. The door was made from thin plywood and a wooden frame, and a solid impact would break through. I looked around and saw a few aged farming tools lying against some houses. The old wooden hoe and the mallet were too rotten to work here. But the old axe looked just right.
せーの。
Hey! I lifted the axe and started counting, but had to stop midway. There was a sound of clattering. The door suddenly moved. Oh, she almost hit her cheese. Surprised, I jumped backwards and glanced at the other two. They were just shocked, if not frightened.
何？
何ってリカ子さんだろ。
上松さん。
There was no response at first, but a few seconds later, the door shook again. A moment later, it fell silent once more. Had she collapsed on the door? If she wasn't, well, and was lying next to the door, breaking it open was dangerous. What if the accident and walked up to the door again? The moment I approached it, I heard a clicking sound. It didn't even have time to question what happened before it creaked open. There was a gap about 20 centimeters. It was pitch black inside. Oh, gosh! There was a face all covered in blood. Oh, jeez! Oh! Oh, what the heck? What the heck is this? What in the world? It sunk back into the darkness. The very next moment, it was soon replaced by inhuman scream and an arm that sneaked out and grabbed for my neck. The grip had inhuman strength behind it. I ignored Chiemi and Kyoto's secret screams and tried to pry myself free. My throat was on the verge of crushing. The groans continued ceaselessly. The nails dug into my neck and I was being dragged inside. Now how the hell was she so strong? This arm clearly belonged to Rikako Uematsu, so why?
手を貸してくれ。
My words got them out of their stupor and they ran up to me. This panic and lack of oxygen did my vision. They grabbed, bashed, and tugged at my arm that was holding onto me. Damn! I'm gonna die, sir! I'm gonna die!
の指離れれ。
Oh! I don't know how long it took, but when I was eventually free, Chiemi swiftly slammed the door shut.
早く何か閉じるもの。
そんなことを言っても。
ああ、もう斧でぶっ刺せ。
Sitting on the ground in shock, I simply stared at the exchange. I could still barely breathe, my vision was hazy and I couldn't think clearly. Something inside was trying to get the door open and possibly escape. What it was, though, I had no idea. What happened to Rikako Uematsu?
これだどうだ。野里さん、ここ押さえといて。みんな連れてきて戸を塞ぐから。春明さん大丈夫？立てる？
I can't talk! Actions were more important than words here. Stealing my resolve, I rose to my feet. Damn, what happened to Rikako? We cut it, everyone is still moved. Instead of Rikako's Uematsu's door and windows, it plants, nails, large farming tools, and whatever else we could find. The small house is basically a pile of flimsy barricades now. Everyone was tired from all the work and sat down to rest. What's the point of doing this, though? Someone asked. You could still hear groans and crushing sounds from the inside. No one answered the question, but we all understood that letting that thing out would be a mistake. But what exactly was it anyway? By the way, where are we? We're still on Yomi. This is so really what's in this? It's got me curious. This is really so a long chapter, but it's fine. It's just that it's been so long since I've died and gained a key, but sure, I'm enjoying this too. But what exactly was it anyway?
読み人じゃ。
Oh, oh, now we got this Yomi. Now this title makes sense. I think we're at the almost at the end of the chapter. Seems like an answer of some sort anyway.
エヴァどういうこと？
読みじより来たる汚れた者ども。知っておるじゃろう。読み人に間違いない。
いやそうじゃなくて読み人は狼でしょ。宴で殺された恨みで蘇った。
そうとは限らんのよ、はるちゃん。安水は常に昔も今も読み人に脅かされとる。あるいは汚れは読み人を生んだのかもしれぬ。上松
Oh,
様は何かとんでもない銀を破ったのやも。
バカな！近畿の守り手浄化を司るのが雲の家の役目だぞ。
じゃからこそ汚れに触れすぎたのかもしれぬでしょう。
それは
思えば安水に来られたのは黄泉の汚れを少しでも食い止めんとされたのかもしれませんね。これからどれだけ読み人が出るやら知れたもんじゃないわ。匠はええ子じゃった。
yeah, but she died in a gruesome way. Jeez.
ナムシない大権現。ナムシない大権現。
Silent prayer, her eyes were teary and her shoulders were shaking.
待て。じゃあリカ子さんはもう。
読み人はくくらねばならん。
Okay, so at least that saved you one innocent, right? That didn't sit right with me. The rule was breaking the laws meant getting the corruption, and getting the corruption meant being slaughtered, right? This is the first time I heard that it was possible to do something about the corruption, that she'd die because of that. Logic had a little ground here, so the people were gradually losing their minds. They were being pushed closer to death. That was like... this was a... supernatural phenomenon. Oh, she's freaking creepy. I really think she's one of the wolves in Yasun.
皆さん食事にしませんか？私はもう落ち着きましたから。他のことは皆さんが落ち着いてから。
It was a very attractive suggestion. As we all turned away and returned to the dining hall, I felt like Rikakuya must have let out a groan even more inhumanly loud than any of those before. Once we arrived, the place was dominated by... It's either like she's the one who killed Mochi because that's against the rules, and then she became Yomibito or corruption or whatever, or she really did something about the corruption thing. And maybe she's the spider and she didn't protect Takumi, and that's why she did fulfill her role. That's why Takumi died and she became corrupt. I don't know. I'm just making suggestions here, maybe. Once we arrived, the place... I mean, that's a suggestion. My English is really bad. Once we arrived, the place was dominated by a heavy silence. There were sounds coming from the kitchen. The kitchen knife rhythmically hit the cutting board as Carson preparing the food. Tyson was seated away from everyone, desperately yet fluent in chanting a sutra combined with the kitchen sounds. It had a mind-numbing effect. Everyone else was simply falling into a torpor, staring silently into space. Even I, the sanest person in the room, wanted to simply let my mind shut down and stop thinking. That wouldn't stop me from trying, though. I just did a breather. Rather than trying to evaluate the details, I decided to return to square one and summarize the current situation. Takumi-san was dead that left Ichiemi, the two Obibes, Kiyonosuke Shitai, Meiko, Rikako, and Habu, a total of 9. And Rikako and Matsui didn't want to say she'd become a Yomibito or something, but it was clear that she was in a condition that left her functionally useless. Normally, the right thing to do here would be to take her to a hospital, but instead, they were going to discuss killing her. I'd probably have to remind them of the sound course of action. Whatever the case, if you ignore Rikako and Matsus and I, only 7 people were participating in the feast. With Takumi-san's death, would never know what the snake found out about Habu Makishima. Therefore the only confirmed people were Kiyonosuke Shi. Can't the crow confirm if the Kurami old man is really a wolf? I mean, is it the crow would only use its power when the suspect is hanged? Therefore the only confirmed people were Kiyonosuke Shi, a human, and Meiko, a monkey. Personally, I thought I could trust Chiemi, so that made 3. I left 4 others. This was bad. I wonder if Chiemi understood that. I had to talk to her in private.
ねえ、お姉ちゃんは
It kept Meiko away from all that happened this morning, so she was still in the dark about Rikako-san.
お姉さんはちょっと具合が悪いんだ。静かにしといてあげて。
ねえ、お外行っていい
No.
危険じゃないかね。
私見とくよ。すぐそこなら危なくもないでしょ。
Two left.
安永、ちょっと
Look at this freaking creepy.
何かな？
ちょっと取ってきてほしいものがね。
Oh no, 2 of them are missing
手
now.
洗いを借りる。
Oh no, no, don't separate. More and more people left. They probably didn't feel comfortable standing up now. Tai-san just continued chanting. Chanting? Okay, though it was she lived in another world beside her, all that left was... Hi. Habi-chan, the way she constantly shifted in her seat made it clear that she felt uncomfortable.
匠さんのことは残念だったね。
Tried talking to her.
ええ。知恵姉もずっと頼ってたし。
植松里香子さんは？
私、あの人苦手よ。気味悪いもの。
ちえみちゃんは平気そうだったけど。
知恵姉は強いもん。
彼女、植松さんがこっちへ来たのっていつ頃のこと？
2年か3年前。だいぶ前よ。
Seemed like plenty of time to get to know a person, if you ask me. Or maybe not. Yasumisa's people had been suffering at the hands of the village heads for generations. Of course, they couldn't just accept her.
彼女は長者だというが、植松家というのは一体どういう家なんだ？
何が聞きたいのよ。よそ者はおとなしくしてろって言われるの何度目ですか？
ごめん。これは無神経だった。じゃあ別の話にしよう。それはいい？
別にいいけど。
I looked around as Yasunaga-kun walked upstairs. I lowered my voice and asked.
君にとって、モッチーはどんな存在だったんだ？
なんで聞くの？
お葬式代わりだよ。
え？
お葬式では、亡くなった人のことを話すだろう。死者の思い出を話すことは、霊魂の供養になるらしいよ。
なんか、意外。
何が？
もっと、血も涙もない人だと思ってたから、供養とかそんなの言い出すって思わなかった。
That was just rude.
モッチーは、野里の子だったけど、選ぶった感じじゃ全然なかった。
Oh.
すっごく変だったし、知恵姉と同じくらいいろんな問題を起こしてたけど、みんなはモッチーのこと頭おかしいって言ってたけど、とっても面白い人。多分テレビとかに出て大活躍するようなのが向いてたと思うわ。一つ上だったけど、ほとんど同い年の友達みたいに接してくれたし、楽しかったわよ、すごく。兄ちゃんもすごく仲良かったし。
そんなに？
うん。いつも一緒にいたし、学校でもヒーローみたいな二人組だったよ。時々、横にいて寂しくなるくらい仲良かった。
But besides him, I felt like she was easier to understand than most. Mochi had really liked her. It must have been self-love. Aww. She hadn't even looked at him that regard, and being with Yasunaga-kun even made him a target of her jealousy.
でも彼はもういない。安永君は辛いだろうな。
うん。
彼を手伝ってあげたら。
Yasunaga-kun was going upstairs again. I gestured at him with my chin.
なんかお手伝い中っぽいし、ちえみちゃんは外だし。君はモッチーの代わりにはなれないかもしれないし、そこに立つべきはちえみちゃんなのかもしれないが、最後に決めるのは彼らだとして、それまでにしてあげたいことを我慢する必要はないんじゃないか。助けになりたいとは思うんだろ。
うん。あなたも？
まあ、彼女には一縮一般以上の恩があるからね。下心がないとは言わないが、それ以上に彼女を支えたい。彼女は僕には見えないものに随分苦しんでいるみたいだから。
やっぱりあなたのこと誤解してたかも。
仕方ないよ。行くのかい？
うん。昨日のこと謝らなきゃだし。
じゃあ僕も外へ。
Stood up at the same time. Though Habi-chan was always on the edge, deep inside she was a really honest girl. I worried that she'd fall victim to some scumbag like me down the road.
あ、
何？
やっぱりあなたは逃げた方が。
お？
いや、なんでもない。
Oh, so it's possible to really run away, huh? She cut herself short and hurried upstairs. Apparently, I'd gained some of her trust, but it didn't look like I could get anything more useful than that bit of advice. Unlike the other inhabitants, she just believed that that escape was possible. That was why she tried to do it yesterday. That might have been the extent of it. Huh.
それで誰が怪しいと思う？
はるちゃんと安永くん。
I'm suspecting Mother and Yasu. I don't know. Mother is suspicious. I woke up to Jamie was looking after Meiko and after started
はる
conversation.
ちゃんはともかくイヤスくんなの？
容疑者は実質4人。タイさんとカオリさん、そしてその2人だ。このうち昨日モッチーらが死んだ時に外出していたのは彼1人。さらに狼の狡猾さを考えれば彼以外に考えづらい。
ずる賢いってこと？
うん。
そうなの？
今日なぜ匠さんは死んだ？
え、なぜって狼に殺されたから。
それを聞きたいんじゃない。
え？一体何が…あ、もしかしてこういうこと？雲に守られなかったから。
正解。おそらくもう雲は死んでる。
Ah, so the Ugobi is the spider? Right?
え、
蛇である匠さんは普通に考えれば初日確かに雲に守られたはずだ。そして2日目である昨日、雲が別の誰かを守るべきだという話は一度も出なかったんだよね。
うん。
ということは雲は引き続き重要度の高い匠さんを守ったと考えるべきだ。雲が生きてたら。
それはそうか。
宴開始後にやられた匠さん以外の人は肝臓さん、吉嗣くん、モッチ、狼じじいし。この4人の中に雲がいて、なおかつそれを狼は見抜き殺して、その上で匠さんを始末した。そうとしか考えられない。
え、それは考えすぎじゃない？4人も死んだからそろそろ雲もいないだろうってことかも。
楽天的に考えればそうだね。しかし相手が本当に賢いやつだったらその油断が最後の致命傷になる。
でもどうやって雲を見抜けるって？
声が大きい。
Oof.
なんでもないよ、メイコちゃん。
I really think that she's just pretending dumb. She's screaming on the ground. She's completely absurd in it for some reason.
雲についてはもしかしたら見抜けた可能性があったかもしれない。
それって どうやって？
初日、肝臓さんが安永くんに喋らせてから最終決定をさせたって言ってただろ。僕の見立てでは、彼はもっと率先して動くタイプだし、初日は誰も殺さないという判断を下しそうにもない。
まあそう言われたらそうかも。
彼が喋って決定が行われれば、場に与える影響はとてつもなく大きい。そしておそらく決断はある程度正しい。だから狼に狙われやすい、こう僕らは考えたよね。
そうだけど、同じ時にヤス君も狙われやすいって話したじゃん。
逆を返せば、自分が狼なら狼に狙われるリスクはないわけだ。それよりも大事なことを黙っていて不自然がられる方が危ない。だから当たり障りのない情報は出す。もしそうならとても賢い選択だ。
でも肝臓じいちゃんがそんなに喋らなかったって話とどうつながるの？
これから言うのは完全に憶測だけど、肝臓さんが動かなかったのは権威を発揮して狼に目をつけられるのを防ぐため。なぜその必要があったか。彼が自身の生存が全員の生存にとって必要だと判断したから。なぜなら
まさかカゴ持ちだったから？
そうだ。それもおそらく雲。
I don't know what happened, but I'm so confused about the conversation. I'm so confused. Are we still talking about Yasun and the spider? What? It's probably the spider.
どうしてそこまで言えるの？
雲は正体がバレた時のリスクが最も大きいカゴだ。なぜなら自分を守れないからね。それでいて正体がバレない限り、狼に対して一夜分無駄にさせられる可能性がある。だから彼は極力目立たないように振る舞おうとした。しかしそれが逆に狼の注意を引いたんだ。あの人が黙ってるなんてよほどの覚悟を持っているに違いないとね。それで狼は彼をまんまと初日に仕留めることに成功し、丸裸になった匠さんを翌日に片付けた。
憶測だってのは分かってるけど、なんとなくそうだって気もする。
もしそこまで敵が意図的だったとすると、現状起きている異常事態も狼のショートカット戦術と考えた方がいい。
どういうこと？
ルール外で人が死にすぎている。吉次君、モッチー、狼じじいし、そしてほぼ死人扱いの植松里香子。狼にとっては予定外の死人が出ることは歓迎すべき。宴の回数が減ればくくられる危険が減るから。だから意図的に人が死ぬように仕向けているとしたら。
話はわかるけど、どうやって？
吉次君については、例えば夜に出歩くように仕向けて汚れに追いやった。
Yeah.
モッチーと狼じじい氏については動機まではわからないが、植松里香子に彼らを殺させたとすれば辻褄が合う。
え？
タエさんは植松家の役割に絡めて汚れの原因を語っていたが、もっと筋の通った説がある。植松里香子が2人を殺したとすれば、1日1人しか殺せない宴のルールに抵触し、汚れの対象となるんだ。
Yeah, I put aside the idea that there were apparently two types of corruption, slaughter and madness.
でもそんなの無理でしょ。彼女あんな服着てるんだよ。着替える暇なんてないじゃん。それに男2人相手に彼女が挑んで勝てるわけないってば。
じゃあこういうのは、モッチーと狼じじいし、どちらかがどちらかを殺し、残った方を彼女が殺した。
Hmm.
2人目の血を流したことで彼女は汚れの対象になる。服についてはわからないが、何か割烹着でも羽織ればいけるかもしれない。検証するまで不可能とは言えない。
それはでも一人だって相手は男で。
Maybe she has those muscles behind her clothes.
片方は何歳かもわからない老人だしな。あるいは殺し合って互いに弱ってたかも。
そんな、なんでそんなこと考えられるの？
だから全部憶測だ。動機だって不明。 しかし話の筋は通っている。
じゃあそれがどうして狼の陰謀につながるっていう。
動機の話になるとわからないけど、弱みを握ったとか殺すように仕向ける方法はあるんじゃないかな。あるいは彼女自身が狼だとかね。
Jamie was at loss for words. I had no choice but to continue myself.
狼の他の仲間が優位になるように自ら時計の針を進めたって可能性もある。
それはないよ。狼は数が減るほど不利じゃん。
確かに狼対人の人数比で言えば1人対2人はうまい交換じゃない。しかし誰もがその打算を働かせられるとは限らない。誰もが合理的に動くわけじゃない。非合理的なことは多分起こってるし、その全てを予測することは不可能だ。
いや、聞きたくない。
でも諦めるわけにはいかないだろ
もう何も考えたくないよ。
う。ごめん、いろいろ言ってさ。
こっちこそごめん。でもちょっときつい。
僕もこれ以上君たちがこんなものに付き合う必要はないと思う。脱出するなら協力するけど。
無理だよ。分かってるんだ。ここに生まれたならここで死ぬしかないんだよ。
No, Jim.
そんなのは単なる思い込みだよ。
神様が見えない人には分からないよ。
ああ、わからないな。困ったな。
Really was troubling. This was some tabletop fun for the whole family game. I have already punched the GM and left. What's GM? But lives were actually on the line here, not just of my own, but also that of some kind I kinda like. It made it this far, yet she was uncooperative. Maybe I was going about this wrong. Maybe if I wanted to save her life, I had to start by saving her from the darkness within. Or maybe from the unidentified supernatural phenomenon that was binding her. Though that didn't seem like something that would be done in just 3 or 4 days. Still, I struggled until the very end. I couldn't participate in the feast myself, so I had no choice but to leave it to Chiemi. I didn't say anything more to her, I just chose to believe she'd overcome her inner conflict soon. Meanwhile, Meiko's drawing had grown so large it felt like she would get lost in the mist.
おーい。
I left Chiemi and went to Meiko. She waved at me, good thing she was kinda used to me now.
さっきから何を書いてるんだい？
こっちがね、
お
Oh!
守り？
My drawing showed a warped circle on the line. It was just strange going through it. But I could see what it was looked like much of Higuchi family crest I saw in the dining hall. There were 4 of them apparently, the others were hard to differentiate. Oh, the whirling drawing is the same as the one on stone. Symbol of the Yamamoto Okami.
なるほど。新内さんのお守りか。お姉ちゃんに教わったのかい？
And then she said no.
こ
Yeah.
っちのはお守りじゃないね。
家畜。
Oh, the sacrifices? Said it was a sweet research vivid word from a girl about 4 years
動
old.
物かい？
これがね、
ふむふむ。
これはロバ。
おお。
こっちはね、豚。
ああ。
The ground wasn't the best canvas and the little girl wasn't the best artist. All I could really tell was that they all had 4 legs.
これは？
私。
It had 4 legs though. Well, whatever. Oh, is it not telling? No. Like, why? I think she's a wolf? She is, isn't she?
じゃあ一番でっかいこれは？
狼。
A light chill went down my spine.
なんで狼なの？
狼が来るから。
Oh, Kabi, oh, Kaba! The wolf is coming. There you go. I was like,
狼が来るから。逃げなきゃいけなくて。
surely you can run with 4 legs.
待ってくれ、メコちゃん。君は狼を知ってるのか？
会ったことない。でも怖いって。
それはここの狼？
ね、
蛇とか猿とかは？
知らない。
狼は何をするの？
家畜を食べる。
食べる？
お馬は食べられたって。
Horse? Apparently, this had nothing to do with the Fujiyoshi legend. I had no idea if this was from a picture book or her imagination, but there were barely any links between the stories. Maybe I was rushing to conclusions. You are.
そのお話は誰に聞いたの？
No one!
本当だよ。
Oh, damn! That's the worst response.
じゃあどこで会ったことかな？
遠く。
To where I came from.
遠くか。
So you have vortex before?
ずーっと歩いてきたの。
Well, it didn't look like I could get any details from her. Far away referred to the land of meat, and it actually had truths regarding Fujiyoshi's legends and that weren't sold here. What the hell was I thinking? The land of meat? How stupid. I should just calm down and file it under more info that made no sense to me.
そっか。
Yep.
頑張ったね。
お腹すいた。
そうだね。僕もだ。
As we turned around, I saw Shiemi standing up in the mist again and hesitantly beckoned us.
食事ができたそうだ。
Kyonosuke was standing at the entrance to the dining hall wearing a gloomy expression. Why? He was never particularly vigorous, but now his visage was haggard, and he wasn't nearly as arrogant as before. I couldn't blame him. The only one person who was friendly, flirtatious, Torikaku Uematsu, was in an awful state. Also, despite all he said, he actually relied on Takumi-san. They seems to be close in terms of age too. And from what they're close in age? Wait, they're close in age? What? From what I've heard, he never really said anything wrong. The only problem was his insensitive choice of words. The peace was a communication game. Even if you were right about something, it didn't matter much if you couldn't convince anyone.
ありがとうございます。
Still, he was one of the mere two confirmed humans. Treating him badly and making him upset wouldn't help at all. I had to be courteous.
行こうか。
お腹減ったね、メイコちゃん。
Chemi had calmed down a bit. I already told her my suspicions. I now had to hope she handled the peace well. All that was left now was to get some nutrients to support my hard-working brain, right? Can I eat food here now?
すみませんね。こんなのしかできなくて。
She ladled what appeared to be rice gruel from the large pot. We're still in the Yomi. It's a long chapter, huh? Steak white soup and vegetable rice and something brown inside.
獅子入りだ。慣れてます？
ええ。生のはダメになっちゃったから。
ちえみちゃん、
I whispered to her.
どうしようか。
春明さんはどうしたい？
We were talking about the thing where I had to avoid the local food.
せっかくだから今回は貫こうか。
オッケー。ありがとう。
What did I mean by this time? Did I think I had another life or something? Huh, maybe. That's fine. It wasn't like I was cool dying. Just off the chance I got a second shot. Dying was an acceptable option. I wasn't about to compromise on that.
ほっつき歩いても仕方ないし、ここで待ってるよ。
わかった。
召し上がらないの？
結構アレルギーあるんで。
若い人は変色しよるからいろいろ食べんと強くなれんわよ。
Hey, I was lying, but some actual allergy suffers that they should be cured, but was an actual murderer. Well, there were some efforts to cure all allergies by carefully injecting the allergens via vaccine, but I was subject by the doctor. Anyway, going back to the dorm by myself was dangerous since they'd suspect me, so I just waited in the corner of the room, still hungry.
安永くんとはるちゃんは？
まだ上かな？
いいから熱いうちに。
What?
もっとついで。
僕は彼らを呼びに行ってくるよ。
I said don't mind them!